Access Sportsnet Dodgers, John Hartung here alongside Jerry Hairston Jr., Nomar Garciaparra. The Dodgers not able to finish off a sweep over the Yankees. The Yankees able to force a Game 5 in this series. Freddie Freeman, though, hit that home run in the first inning, gave the Dodgers a 2-0 lead. It was looking good at the moment. But Daniel Hudson in the third inning gave up a 2-out grand slam. The Yankees never really looked back. And, Jerry, if you're being honest, in all three phases of the game tonight for the Dodgers, just wasn't very good.
It wasn't good. Obviously, we didn't pitch well. Our defense was shaky at best, and we did not hit again with runners in scoring position. Listen, this was Volpe game. Anthony Volpe was outstanding today, really refused to lose, ran the bases extremely well outside of that hiccup, really put pressure on the Dodgers on the base pass. Obviously, that grand slam he had really energized him and his team.
You know what the benefit of being up 3-0 when you go into a series, the best of 7, is that you can afford a butt kicking like this, and that's what they got. You know, the Yankees, they refused to lose, and they took it to them. You know, early on, you had some opportunity. It was great to jump on them early. It was great to get the lead. We talked about how important that was, and then Casparas put up the 0. But I think early on, you saw Casparas was struggling with finding his command, and then you had Hudson, who was struggling early on. You knew it was a bullpen game, but you needed, you know, we always talk about it's really hard to have every single guy coming out of the bullpen and be on, but you're looking early on to just find something you're hoping that they can get through to really make it before you start getting to really those high leverage guys that you're usually depending on. And unfortunately, that grand slam really took it. And, you know, and I look at that last inning though too, and when they really broke it open, we talk about not playing really well, talking about extra 90 feet. You know, Volpe there, it looked like possibly he might have not fouled that ball off, but you still had him out at second base, and you don't hold on to the ball, so that wasn't out there. And then that pop-up that potentially Will Smith that hits off his glove, and you're out of the inning. And now all of a sudden we have a
6-4.
6-4, 2 runs. You're going in the 9th, you know, to try to. So it's a different ball game there, but that's what we were talking about. You got to play a little cleaner, and today they didn't do that in every facet. And you know what? Listen, that happens. Turn the page, and you got to get the job done. You got one tomorrow.
Obviously, the third inning is really what changed this game, Nomar. You talked about the lack of command, struggling with command tonight, Ben Casparas, but Daniel Hudson, he hits a batter, gives up a single, then walks a batter before that grand slam.
Yeah, you see that ball just kind of coming up and in on Aaron Judge. They wanted it up, and this ball was smoked. And that was over the middle of the plate, really over the hard plate. What a tremendous play by Mookie Betts, mind you. And then the walk, and then they wanted that ball away, you know, trying to get him to roll over, and that ball just backed up right over the inner part of the plate. Not going to miss that. You know, you're saying, okay, was that the right call? Yeah, you're looking for that slider. You're looking for that spinner away. Those are ones that, you know, if he's going to pull off of it, he might miss it. He might just hit off the end of the bat. You're looking for that potential ground ball, what have you, but he did not miss that one, hit a long way.
That was the right pitch right there to Volpe. Volpe has really struggled with breaking ball, especially righty-righty, all postseason long. The thing about it is that hanging slider stayed inner half. If it's probably middle or away from him, he either swings and misses or hits it on the ground softly. But, hey, credit him. He got a mistake, and he hammered it.
Well, and tonight the Dodgers offensively, they went 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And it's kind of amazing, Jerry, the Dodgers are up 3-1 in this series. They're 4 for 26. They have 4 hits with a runner in scoring position through 4 games.
And this would be my message to the team. Now, yes, you're up 3-1, and I would be like, listen, we're lucky. We're up 3 games to 1 right now. 4 for 26 with runners in scoring position with our offense, with the talent we have in that locker room, in that dugout. 4 for 26. That needs to change starting tomorrow. So this is a really good wake-up call. I don't care who they got on the mound tomorrow. I don't know if it's Cy Young, Satchel Paige. I don't care who they got on the mound tomorrow. You figure out a way to grind out better at-bats in runners in scoring position. That has been the characteristic. We talked about going into the postseason. You got to hit with runners in scoring position. They did that in the NLDS, NLCS. Now you're in the World Series. And I said earlier, you've been fortunate to have Freddie Freeman go on a heater here, go on a tear. But now, hey, take a step back, accept the butt kicking you had tonight, and get back on course and start really bearing down running scoring position, because we're too talented of a team. I don't care who they have on the mound. They're a great team over there. I'm not hating on them. I'm talking about us. Yeah. We need to be better.
Yeah, definitely need better in those situations. And we're talking about Garrett Cole, and you know that you've got to take advantage of that. I thought in Game 1 against Garrett Cole that they had opportunities and missed those chances early on. He made some mistakes, and they weren't able to capitalize on. You have to against a good pitcher like Garrett Cole. So hopefully, you know, they have to regroup and say we need to be better, because those opportunities, we're creating opportunities.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. But at the same time, we always talk about like 10 hits, 5 runs. You know, they only had 6 hits today. You know, they managed 4 runs. But at the same time, you know, the opportunities do a lot more than that. And the other thing too, they also swung and missed a lot more today than we had seen over the course of this. I think that was also been the difference. You're right. They've struggled runners in scoring position, but they haven't struck out as much. And today there was a lot more swings and misses. So hopefully that cuts down.
And that would fire us up. And I know I'm kind of fired up right now. If you tell us that tomorrow in the hitters meeting, remember those hitters meetings? What? We didn't realize that. You know, because sometimes we're not swinging the bat as way we're capable of. But if you tell that group that it's Max Muncy, Kike Hernandez, Mookie, Freddie, Ohtani, those guys have a tremendous amount of pride. So you tell them that, I have a feeling they're going to get a little ticked off and be ready to go.
And the one hit they had with the runner in scoring position tonight was in that very first inning. It was the home run by Freddie Freeman. 4th straight World Series game in this Fall Classic that he's homered. No one's ever done that before. You go back to the 2021 Fall Classic, 6 straight World Series games he's homered in. That's a Major League record, Nomar. And it's a good thing Freddie's bat has heated up at the right time.
It really has. I mean, watching him just hit, it doesn't matter where you throw it. I mean, he's locked in, having a great swing, exactly what the Dodgers need. I mean, when you have a bat like that and a threat, obviously it helps everybody else around you, aside from putting the runs on the board. So he has really been coming through. Like we said, though, it can't be just now one guy. It has to be collective, everybody, to put that pressure on the opposing team's pitching.
And he's hitting everything. Fastball. That was a slider, outer third.
Yeah.
And he hooked it into the right field corner. So, again, Freddie is locked in. Hopefully he continues to stay locked in. And listen, as an opposing team or pitcher, you're trying to figure out, how can I get him out? Here's that breaking ball, outer third. He's able to get the barrel on it and hits a rocket over the right field wall. Great bat path, great swing, head down on contact. And you love to see that. Hopefully we get more of this, but it's not just one guy. We want to be 1 through 9, and that's when the Dodgers are at their best. I had a feeling, you know, a couple guys are struggling in this World Series, and guys have that little bit of a want to. Take a step back, understand, you know what? If they're going to allow you to walk. A couple times we saw a couple guys chase out of the zone, especially 3-2. Take your walk. Trust the guy behind you.
We saw Landon Knack in this game really save this bullpen, Jerry. They put them in a good spot for tomorrow's Game 5, because Knack comes in, puts up 4 innings, does not allow, or he gave up just that one run on the solo home run, but just chewed up some innings, and Doc was able to stay away from his high leverage guys to set them up for Game 5.
And listen, it is so hard to navigate your bullpen, especially in a long series. And you understand, you want to make sure, especially when you're playing 3 straight games, obviously this could have been a closeout for the Dodgers. You got to make sure you have guys that are well rested, if need be, so they'll be able to come in tomorrow in Game 5 well rested, and they have their A stuff. Now, listen, on the flip side, manager Aaron Boone, he had to send everybody out, because this was the elimination game for him. So maybe now tomorrow you send out a couple of those guys out. They're not going to be as fresh, maybe hang some pitches. But on the flip side, because of Knack, he gave us some length. We have a lot of our firearms out there be ready to roll.
You know, I think this game, when you look at this game, it's a lot different than the game when we're talking about the bullpen game when they were playing against the Padres. Whole different situation, because obviously, very similar as you mentioned, your back's against the wall, you got a must win, you're throwing everybody, and everybody's available, and then you're seeing, you know, how you're going to play that inning by inning. It doesn't matter, and you're going, listen, I have enough for 9. I don't care. I'm not worried about extra innings. I got to find a way to just end it here based on that pitching. This is a little bit different. He knew, Dave Roberts knows going in, that he had to get some length from somebody, whether it was Kasparius be able to give it to him or Knack. And I'll tell you, when you really look at those two combined, I mean, if you're saying before the game, I can get 6 innings combined by those two guys and maybe only give up 2 runs,
right,
you'll take that each and every time. You're thinking, okay, that is a phenomenal scenario. We need our offense needs to go out there and score at least 4 to 5 runs, and you're going to take that and go to the high leverage. You know, it was right in between where Hudson, who had been the guy that you counted on from a high leverage situation over the course of this season, maybe struggling more toward the end of the year, but at the same time, a guy who's been there and done that just made that mistake. He didn't have the command, made that mistake, and they made him pay.
This had the feel of the game. Remember, it was a Game 5 in New York against the Mets in the NLCS. We got drummed. We had Honeywell go out there and kind of eat up innings. We had Honeywell eat up innings again tonight. Obviously, Knack. But we were in a great position with our bullpen. I know as fans, we were upset. but we knew going into game six we're in great position. Flip side, Aaron Boone and his staff understood, hey, I can kind of throw out my guys here because obviously it's an elimination game, but now they're hoping they get Garrett Cole at least 7, maybe 8 to give that bullpen some rest. Game 5, and if there is a game 6, they have the day off for game 6. So again, it's always a cat and mouse. So on the flip side, this is the second time around seeing Garrett Cole for our offense. I'm interested to see their adjustments because, Nomar, you mentioned it. Garrett Cole gave our offense some pitches to hit the very first game, looking for their adjustments.
All right, tonight we saw Ben Kasparias make his first Major League start, and it comes in Game 4 of the World Series. Right now, Kasparias is in the clubhouse talking with Kirsten Watson and the media.
Ben, to have the opportunity to start a World Series game, just, I know, minus the outcome, but just that moment, what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was really special for me, especially close to home like that, and them to have trusted me to start the game.
When it comes to just finding ways to kind of navigate, obviously it's a tough lineup. What were you seeing from them? What did you find in which you were limited and which you were able to execute?
Yeah, I think they pretty much eliminated the outer part of the plate tonight. Obviously stuck to their game plan really well. A lot of really good takes on sliders, and I think for me to be successful, it needs to be in the zone more.
This is a really close bullpen group. What was kind of the communication and messaging like after this one?
I haven't really heard much. Obviously, just being in the dugout after the game, and obviously when I came out of the game. But I think it's just spit this one out and turn our focus towards tomorrow.
Being so close but still so far away, isn't there a certain amount of frustration in that?
Yeah, I think, obviously we want to take care of every single day, and a win would have been great today, obviously, but that's baseball, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
You're the second pitcher ever in big league history to make his first big league start in a World Series game. I guess, what was the emotions sort of like processing through today and sort of handling everything?
Yeah, I found out last night, so I had some time in advance to prepare and get ready, try to navigate their lineup, but, it was special for me. That's baseball. Things happen. We'll be ready to go.
All right, recapping the schedule of this World Series, Dodgers won the first 3 games, but they weren't able to finish off the sweep tonight, so we will have Game 5 tomorrow at 5 o'clock on Fox. We don't even want to think about a Game 6 or 7 at Dodger Stadium yet, so join us tomorrow, pregame at 4 o'clock, and then postgame for all of the comprehensive reaction, hopefully a celebration tomorrow night as well. Freddie Freeman, 4th home run of this series, has 10 RBIs through the first 4 games. Not enough tonight, though. Dodgers fall 11-4. Carl's Jr. moment of the game. Nomar, Freddie Freeman. Homers in the first inning for the second straight game. He's homered now 4 straight World Series games.
Well, we were asking before the game, where's the moment of the game? If we can look into our crystal ball, we were saying it'd be nice to have it in the first inning. Well, the Dodgers did, and it was Freddie Freeman provided that moment of the game early on, put him on the board. We thought, listen, got the momentum early. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on to it.
Yankees take Game 4, 11-4 the final. Let's go back to New York and hear from Dave Roberts right now. He's talking with the media.
Hey, Dave, just with the third inning with Daniel, what did you see from him that kind of led to the struggles?
Well, the 2 free passes, the hit by pitch, the walk, and he had Stanton 1-2 and just couldn't put him away. And then, gets a pop-up, and he's, 1 hit away from getting out of it and leaves a slider arm side to Volpe. And, that was the difference in that inning.
I know you talked like pregame about you're going to have to be careful picking your spots with guys. Is that a situation, especially when he's, kind of struggling to find the zone, where you think it all about maybe getting somebody else up for the rest of that inning, or is that going to be his inning the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was his inning. I think he was at 20 pitches, something like that. He had Volpe up, so it's I'm not going to go get somebody in the third inning to get Volpe where he just popped a guy up and, uncharacteristic with the hit by pitch, the walk. So, yeah, it was his inning.
Right behind Jack, Bill.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, you had Volpe, but also Wells and Verdugo were lined up, but that would have been too early to use a Bonda there or Vesia? Or you're trying to stay away from them completely today?
Well, I mean, it's, I'm not going to use him in the third inning right there. Yeah, I just wasn't going to use him in the third inning, no.
And knowing, obviously, choice number 1 is to win tonight, but since that didn't happen, I don't mean this to sound flip, did this outcome in terms of pitching play out as well as you could hope?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone expected those guys to lay down, and we had some at-bats that I thought could have been better. But we knew it was a bullpen game, and you know, as far as outcomes, to have, you know, 6 guys in your pen that are feeling good, rested, I feel good about that, and being up 3-1. Yeah.
We'll go to Barry in the right, and then
Hey, Doc, just piggybacking off of that, how do you feel about the bullpen for the rest of the series, especially since I think you used more guys last night than you did tonight?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel great. It's about, you know, the guys that you have available. Some of those guys they're all rested. So we have guys that can do up, down. So where we're at with tomorrow, knowing there's an off day behind that, we're in a great spot with leverage relievers.
I'm guessing you must be glad that this is the last time in the playoffs you have to do this. You have actual starters for the next 3 games.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
On your left, Dave, Juan.
Dave, after that 5th inning, you guys were only down a run. Like, how challenging is it to kind of balance out whether you want to ride Knack for a couple more innings as opposed to maybe going some leverage guys?
It's challenging. I think that you've got to be certain that you can score some runs. There's certainly any guy that we used tonight would have not been able to pitch tomorrow. Landon actually threw the ball very well. And then when they got, you know, I thought his work was done. 4 innings, most he's thrown in quite some time. And being down 2 going into the that last half, it just doesn't make sense to use one of your leverage guys.
And then with Ohtani, what are you seeing from his at-bats, and is the shoulder kind of messing up some?
You know, mechanics? I mean, we've asked him many times over, and it's not impeding. He doesn't feel it. I just think it's just the chase. You see it. I mean, there's some big at-bats that, you know, could result in a walk and not taking the base, and chasing is, you know, hasn't been good.
Stay in that same road, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Just following up on Ohtani as well. How about on the base paths? How do you evaluate his base running with the shoulder?
I think it's been fine so far. You know, he actually slid tonight, so I don't think that it's been a problem. I mean, he's not going to be stealing bases, but I wouldn't think. But I think it hasn't been too much of a problem right now.
Just with your experience with the being down 3-0, you were on the other side, like you mentioned yesterday. What's the feeling in the clubhouse on your side now? Like, do you guys kind of feel like you know, maybe lost one? Like, obviously you did lose one, but like let one go today, or? No. I mean, I think that they beat us. Volpe took a good swing. They took advantage of a couple free passes. They tacked on later. I do think that at bat wise, I think we could have done some things to get in their pen a little bit earlier. But again, at the end of the day, we're still in a pretty good spot, and we feel good. We'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Jack on your left.
Could you see what happened with Mookie on that fly ball in the 1st inning? And I don't know if you've gone back and watched it since, if you had a reaction to when he went up into the crowd and the fan.
No, I thought he had a beat on it, and he was, you know, the fans got in the way, and the umpires got it right.
Do 2 more, Gabe and then Ron.
Just to reiterate, there was really no circumstance today where you would have chased the game in a sense, and was it at all tempting 6-4 in the 8th to think, well?
No, not 6-4 in the 8th. No, it wasn't. No.
And we'll finish up with Ron, the first row on your right.
How sky high is the feeling in the dugout after Freddie's homer there in the 1st inning? And do you, even though you don't have to remind the guys there's 27 outs to go, do you have to remind them?
I don't. I think that, you know, we were very high. We were excited. Those guys, you know, fortunately answered back. It was a good ball game till it wasn't. I don't need to remind them that there's 27 outs. We do a very good job of playing 27 outs.
All right, Dave, thank you so much.
Right,
we'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it.
We heard Dave Roberts talking about Shohei Ohtani, obviously the partial dislocation of his shoulder during Game 2, Nomar. And Dave says it's not limiting him right now with his at-bats. Had a single tonight. What did you think, though, of Shohei's 4 at-bats in this game?
You know, Dave Roberts touched on it, that there's been chase, and that's exactly what Shohei's been doing. I think we've seen a lot of chase balls that you think don't look as competitive or out of the zone, and he's going after them and getting the swings and misses. I think they're forcing that. But, you know, here's a pitch that I think he usually hammers. He just misses it and gets under it. That's why I'm wondering, you know, okay, it's the shoulder, but it could also be mechanics, because we've seen that. This was a great hit. this is something that he, hopefully he goes back and he looks at. And the reason why I'm saying looking at that one with the hit is because he really kept that front side closed. We always talk about that with Shohei Ohtani. When you look at his bat, it looks like, his front hip, it'll open. And that's fine. But what gets him in trouble is when the front hip opens and the front shoulder follows with it. When those start going together, that's what gets him in trouble. And then when you see that chase is as those start leaking out, maybe because you're maybe compensating or think you might be late because of your shoulder, and sometimes not even with an injury, you just think you're going to be late, you start leaking too soon, and all of a sudden you recognize that pitch out, and that's when you see kind of that reach and his butt ends up sticking out because now his front side is already gone, and that's the only way your body tries to reach. So you really see that chase. But when he is going well, the front side can open up, the lower half opens up, but that front shoulder still stays closed. And we know that ball ends up staying, traveling back. It gets deeper. This is how he drives it to the other side of the field, going the other way. He stays back on pitches. And even then, if it's in, it's just like a spring that just unloads, and he can really react on the inner half. Right now, I think they're just moving too close together. And I think also if he stays close, if he tells himself, it does protect that shoulder, that back shoulder a little bit more, because a lot of times when you open, it kind of opens up that shoulder and then you end up reaching. So some things that, hopefully, he can talk about, maybe he sees to keep that front shoulder closed, whatever his triggers are and cues that we hear to keep it that way.
I would be more concerned if it was his front shoulder that he was the front shoulder that separated. Because it's the back shoulder, he can swing with this lead arm violently. You've seen it. He's taken hacks. The chase, I don't think, has anything to do with the shoulder because he was kind of chasing a little bit even before that injury. So listen, he needs to get back to square one, get back to his mechanics. We know Shohei, like every hitter, kind of gets off kilter at certain points of the season, certain points of the offseason. He goes back, look at the video, and say, you know what? I pulled off that 3-2 splitter. I think in his mind he thought it was a fastball way, and he was going to go the other way, but obviously it kind of fell off the table, and he saw the swing and miss. So again, get back to square one, get back seeing the ball longer and hitting the ball on a line the other way.
And a lot of note too, we always talk about if your front arm, especially that's the strong one right now because of the injury, when your front arm is dominant, you got to think knob to the ball first.
Yes.
When you think that knob's going to the ball first, keeps the barrel above the hand, and when you take that knob first, it also helps keep that front side closed and you stay on the ball.
Sometimes it just takes one swing. Hopefully that swing comes in Game 5 tomorrow. Landon Knack, 4 innings of 1-run ball tonight, putting the Dodgers bullpen in a good spot for tomorrow's Game 5. We will hear from Knack and more coming up. Go top-tier stats. Freddie Freeman has now homered in 6 straight World Series games. That is a new Major League record as he passes George Springer, did it with the Astros. Reggie Jackson, Lou Gehrig also on the list. Unfortunately, the Dodgers lose 11-4 in Game 4. Let's head back to New York and hear from Mookie Betts right now talking with the media.
How would you describe what happened with that fan, that foul ball?
It's irrelevant. We lost. It doesn't matter.
Just how is that hand feeling? Because it kind of looked like, from our perspective, that your wrist kind of went a little bit backwards.
No, I didn't even know he grabbed my hand, so no, it's perfectly fine.
Was that about as aggressive as you've seen fans in all your time in the game?
When it comes to the person in play, it doesn't matter. We lost. It's irrelevant. I'm fine. He's fine. Everything's cool. We lost the game, and that's what I'm kind of focused on. We got to turn the page and get ready for tomorrow.
Mookie, were those guys there the rest of the game, or did they get thrown out?
I'm not sure. I didn't look back over there.
Did you get hurt?
No. Mom, everything's fine.
A lot of you guys were talking about that you knew the Yankees weren't going to lay down. What did you see differently out of them? Obviously, they hit the wall, but to kind of turn the page on their
fight. I mean, they're going to fight. If you made it this far, you have a resilient team that's going to fight the whole time. We expect that. Obviously, we didn't play well today, and they did, and that's why they won.
What was the feeling after Freddie homered again in the first inning for a 2-0 lead up with just 1 out?
I mean, it felt great. Felt great. Trying to get on the board first, and but they fought back. Can't do anything about it now.
Have you ever had an interaction with that gear officially as a stadium fan?
No, I've never had that, but again, it's irrelevant.
You guys have been so patient at the plate. There were a few more strikeouts today. What do you attribute that to? Was it just trying to make something happen in later innings?
I would say we're human beings, and we're not machines up there. So we had a bad game, and it's part of it. So we got to turn the page and get ready for tomorrow.
feel like you're still pretty in control of this series, or when a team wins a game like this, do you worry that it might have given them a little more life?
I mean, we're up 3-1 right now. We feel pretty good about it, but you know that they're going to fight. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter when it is. They're going to fight. And so, I mean, no lead is safe until you win the fourth game.
So, Mookie, you know, going into this, you knew this was going to be an up and down series anyway, but some good for them and some good for you.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't make it this far on accident. So, you know, I mean, they're a really good ball club, and they showed it tonight.
We heard Mookie Betts say that play was irrelevant, the one involving him making the leaping catch down the line and the fans trying to grab the ball out of his glove, another one grabbing his hand. Jerry, I've never seen anything like that on a Major League Baseball field, certainly not in a World Series game. That's scary stuff when you see fans starting to do that.
Let me say this. Yankee fans are incredible. Great fan base. They are passionate. Those two men, I wouldn't even say gentlemen, won't see a Major League Baseball field again. They're going to be banned from Yankee Stadium. They're going to be banned from every Major League Stadium because these guys really could have seriously injured Mookie Betts, whether it's an elbow. I remember Brian Roberts had a really bad incident at first base. I believe it was in New York. And he had a dislocated left elbow, messed up his career, the rest of his career. You look at the position he has with his left elbow. You don't know how that elbow is going to react to that. That guy could have kept pulling and hurt his wrist as well. These guys were escorted. Trust me, Yankee security took care of these guys. They ain't going to see Yankee Stadium again. They're not going to see a Major League Baseball field again. That can never happen anywhere at any time. And listen, I've known Mookie Betts a little bit since his time here. That's as mad as I've seen him. And he didn't say anything. I'm glad he didn't address it because that's not his play. We can address it. Okay, he's focused on the field, focused on the play. Okay. But as far as fans right there, that can never happen. That does not represent the Yankee fans in any way. It should never happen. I'm sick that fans got a chance to see that, not just at the stadium, but also, 17 million people watching it on TV. Can't happen.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, there's a difference between going for a ball, right? And, you know, we were talking about at Dodger Stadium when they went into the stands, and you're like, where are the fans that try to catch it and get up there? Not go after the glove, not go after the player, not attack them anyway, hold them by any means. We not say it. And that was pretty bad. When you see that, what the fans were doing to Mookie, grabbing his glove, grabbing his hand, continue to fight and grab the hand. It wasn't like, oh, I caught his glove, like, oops, and like you let go right away, like, oh, I was trying to get the ball and I just happened to get his glove. That was uncalled for, and that should never happen in a game at any place, and that was unfortunate. You talk about an unfortunate part of this game. That was definitely a major. And you know, the one good thing is that the umpires called it right, but the other good thing is that Mookie's okay. Yeah. You know, because he could have been seriously injured, and that would have been really that would have been some serious stuff going on there.
All right, Freddie Freeman homers for the fourth straight game in this World Series. Let's hear from Freeman right now inside the Dodgers clubhouse.
I know that ended in a loss, so to be the first player in Major League history.
Yeah.
I'm finishing, but how did it feel?
I mean, obviously it felt good after that first inning. I'll look back on it after, you know, hopefully when we get this thing done tomorrow. But pretty cool, obviously. Hopefully I can keep it going tomorrow.
How do you not let this loss stop the momentum that you guys have built?
I think we're going to be okay. This team knows what we got to do tomorrow. We know that we're going to come out and we're going to keep those bats down very long, so they came out swinging, and we'll try and do the same thing tomorrow.
Freddie, what did you make out of the incident with Mookie and the fans down the right field line there?
I know Mookie caught it. That's all I care about. I mean, they're going to find any way to keep life going. We're okay. We know what we can do tomorrow, and we're going to come out here and face Garrett again, one of the best pitchers in the game, but we faced him a few days ago, so hopefully we can counter what he did against us the other game.
And how much does it help that you just faced him about 4 days ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to face him a few days ago, but he's still one of the best pitchers in the game. It's not going to be easy, so we got our hands full, so hopefully Jack throws a good game, we can score some more runs.
What was the biggest difference tonight from the previous games?
We gave up a lot of runs. We didn't score very many.
Freddie, with the defensive miscues that kind of happened in the eighth, was there anything underlying with all of those?
I don't think so. I think the infield's in, Volpe's fast. It's a tough play. He's got to go as fast as you can, and you know you got to make perfect throws, and it just didn't happen in that time.
Freddie Doc talked about, even with 3-0 lead, having urgency. I mean, did you guys feel that?
We were urgent. We know what's at stake. We had a chance to win the World Series tonight. I think we're all pretty urgent and want to do that as fast as we can, so we'll be doing the same thing tomorrow.
Were you surprised by their outing tonight?
By the Yankees?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, they're in the World Series. They're they're one of the best teams in this game. So we knew what we were going to be tasked with tonight. They had their bats going today. So hopefully Jack calms them down and we score more runs than them.
Hey, Freddie, unrelated, the stand up to cancer moment. What did that kind of feel like for you guys as players?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if anybody follows me, cancer hits home to my family and I. So anytime we can bring awareness, it's a wonderful thing. So unfortunately, cancer is never going to go away, and if it does, that's probably the greatest thing on earth. But be a part of something like that and bring awareness to Yankee Stadium, standing up, doing all that. A lot of people stood up. So ultimately, that was a good moment.
Will Smith hit his third home run of the postseason, but the Dodgers fall in the Bronx 11-4 in Game 4. More reaction coming up. Access.
ドジャースの選手たちは本当に素晴らしいパフォーマンスを見せてくれました。あと一歩でワールドシリーズ制覇というところまで来ています。特にフレディ・フリーマン選手の活躍には感動しましたよね。彼がこれからもチームに与えるエネルギーに期待が膨らみます。さあ、次の試合に向けて皆さんも一緒に応援しましょう。チャンネル登録をして私たちと一緒にこの感動的な瞬間を楽しんでください。